It seems as though every time there's a video talking about the worst missions in the Assassin's Creed franchise, this mission always comes up. The mission in which you have to assassinate Sibrand in Assassin's Creed 1. So because it's been a while since I've made a video and I keep seeing this mission get an ungodly amount of hate, here's why the Sibrand mission in Assassin's Creed 1 isn't as bad as we make it out to be. Before we begin though, this is all just my opinion in regards to defending the Sibrand mission. I'm not the greatest Assassin's Creed player. I'm just a big nerd who likes talking about the franchise. You're allowed your opinions and that's okay. I'm just trying to bring the mission a bit of love and provide a bit of help as to why it might not be the best mission and why it's not as clear cut as arguments might make it out to be. With that being said, if you could drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, I'd be immensely grateful. So let's talk about all the reasons as to why this is the worst mission in Assassin's Creed. The big one is due to getting to point A to point B. Not only are there archers and drunks surrounding the docks, but Sibrand is also on a ship surrounded by water, and the parkour apparently being not very good for the time. The littlest of mistakes can cause death, considering if you fall into the water, it's an instant desynchronization due to an in-universe animus glitch. As well as this, if you're detected, Sibrand will flee and the mission will fail. Firstly, I feel like the issues surrounding getting detected can be easily sorted out by doing the investigation missions to the fullest. I know it's tempting considering how repetitive the missions are in Assassin's Creed 1, with having nothing to do but either eavesdrop, interrogate, pickpocket and do odd jobs for the informants scattered across the city, but a good chunk of the missions we might not want to do due to being tedious can reap the best information. For example, by doing the informant missions for Sibrand, we can learn of the location of the majority of the drunks which hang around the Acre docks. We can also gain a map which details the paths that Sibrand's guards will take within the docks too. And on top of this, by doing a simple pickpocket mission, we can learn that the northern part of the docks is completely clear of Sibrand's knights. With all of this information on hand, we can decide how to best approach the target. So if we know that the northern part of the docks is clear of guards and we don't want to draw attention to ourselves, we can always follow the route given to us from the map and reach Sibrand that way. And with this route, there's minimal reason to hop on any poles in the water and risk falling in. There's also a secondary route which we can follow, but this does involve more parkour across the water and navigating your way past a few of the drunks, leading you to Sibrand. There's also a third route which we can take, which involves potentially getting spotted by the guards, but is quicker yet involves more parkouring over the water than the previous two routes at our disposal. Taking out any guards from a distance should be okay for players considering the throwing knives are silent, you'll have plenty of them, and they're a one-hit kill. Otherwise, use your hidden blade and use the blend mechanic when you're on dry land and you should be okay. To provide a bit more visual context, I'm going to be including the paths which you can learn about from the maps in this video as a visual demonstration while I talk about the main reason, the parkour mechanics and falling into the water. This point I feel is the more realistic argument to have against the mission, but it's a bit more nuanced than that. The parkour and movement mechanics in Assassin's Creed 1 grant the player the most freedom when it comes to the choices you make. There's no real safety nets in place to stop you from leaping off of a building or throwing Altair into the wrong direction. It's pretty straightforward to some extent. If you make a mistake, it's because you made the mistake and the parkour mechanics are only doing what you've told it to do. Yes, I will concede that there are moments where Altair just slips off of whatever he's supposed to be climbing onto, and yeah, that's pretty unfair, especially when it comes to falling into the water. Yet most of the time, the falling into the water situation is because of you. I hear that the parkour in this game isn't that great. Hell, I used to have that belief myself. But the more I played AC1, the more I watched videos and discovered more mechanics and tricks you can do to better traverse the maps and look stylish too, learn what they actually managed to accomplish. I'm pretty comfortable in the camp of that Assassin's Creed 1 had some of the best, if not the best, parkour mechanics in the entire franchise, not just based off of animations, but in terms of player freedom too. One final point I'd like to make, which might be a well no shit moment, is that the reason the mission can be seen as quite difficult is because it's near the end of the game. Games escalate in difficulty as the games go on, and we already see that in Assassin's Creed 1 with the presence of guards and the combat and stealth becoming more challenging too. So it makes sense that the parkour would become a little bit more difficult as the game goes on as well. It gives you a new challenge, a new obstacle which you've not had to deal with really until now, the water. I know that's a weak argument, but when you're at that point in the game, you should have plenty of practice using the systems. And when you've already been dealing with drunks and lunatics throughout the game, having them near the water can provide quite a challenge too, because now there's a real risk of you falling into the water and dying. However, by doing the informant missions and completing your investigation, you can choose whether you want to deal with drunks and decide which route to take in order to avoid them entirely and get to your target without being detected. And that's all I really have to say on the matter for this video. I personally loved the Sibrand mission because of how different it is. I already love the atmosphere of the city of Acre, and seeing Sibrand be so paranoid as to cut down a priest believing he's an assassin when we're in the crowd just hits different for me. It's satisfying for me to get to the ship without being detected, ending his life when he thought he'd be safe surrounded by guards in the water. It just fuels the assassin fantasy for me and is one of my favourite assassination missions in the game. With all that being said, I really do appreciate you all being here and watching this video. I know I've been gone a while and I've had a lot going on, but I'm going to try and make more Assassin's Creed videos going forward and save videos on other games for another time and another channel. Right now I'm just going to focus on bringing you the best Assassin's Creed content that I can, so I ask you, what videos would you like to see next on the channel? Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated, and with all that being said, if you could drop a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this particular video, I'm sure you'll love the one that's up on screen now. Thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye for now.